Welcome to episodes of r/slash petty revenge, where we share stories of small victories over those who've wronged you. This is TNA, top-notch audio. Sit back and get ready for some fantastic, funny stories. And at the end of these stories, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for sure. Now, on to the stories. And this next story is posted by u/Fred Zred. Eat my food? I'll feed you cat food. This happened a few years ago when my brother was living at my place for a short period of time. We're both adults and should know the rule of don't steal others' food. Well, I know this rule. My brother, however, does not. He's never had a solid meal routine. Instead of eating 3 meals a day, he eats periodically during the day. When he moved in, I told him firmly that he was not to eat any of my food and only eat his own, which he agreed to. The first few days went fine, but after a week, I started to notice certain things disappearing and I had to do more shopping than usual. I asked him if he'd been taking my food, but he was adamant that he wasn't. I knew better than this. Since a very early age, I've been able to tell if my brother is lying, which in this case he was, but I've never pulled him up on this, so he doesn't know I can pick a lie. Bring on the petty revenge. In my next shop, I purchased cooking chocolate, wasabi, canned tuna, and canned tuna cat food. The next day after he left for work, I began. I soaked the cans in the sink for 10 minutes to get the labels off and replace the labels, making sure to scratch off the pet food sign on them. I placed them back in the cupboard. I have a cat. Oh, jeez. I soaked the cans in the sink for 10 minutes to get the labels off and replace the labels, making sure to scratch off the pet food sign on them. I placed it back in the cupboard. I have a cat, so the cat food wasn't out of place. After putting a layer of melted chocolate into the cake molds and letting them set, I coated the insides with a very generous coat of wasabi and then sealed them with more chocolate. The chocolate's wasabi creations I made were small enough to put the whole thing in your mouth at one go, and I made sure to make enough that one or two wouldn't be noticeable, setting the trap perfectly for my brother. All I had to do was wait. When my brother got home later that day, I casually went into my room to wait, and right on cue, I heard the cupboards opening and closing and cans being opened. Brilliant. About 10 minutes later, I heard the fridge being opened. Got ya. 20 seconds later, I heard my brother screaming and yelling, "Arr! What the flip? OMG, what is this? OP, what the heck did you do? What is this?" I came out of my bedroom with a smile on my face. "What's wrong?" Faking concern. "Bro," pointing at the plate on the table with the chocolates on it. "What the heck is this? Are you trying to bloody kill me?" Me. "Why were you eating my food?" "I thought you said you weren't eating my food." Silence, followed with him muttering something under his breath as he walked to his room and slammed the door. I had a look in the bin and sure enough, there were empty cans of tuna in there. I yelled to my brother through his door, "How was the cat food?" "Bro." "The what?" Me. "The cans of tuna in the cupboard are cat food. I hope you liked it." "Bro." "WTF? Why would you do that? That could kill me. What's wrong with you?" He never ate my food again. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite stories that I've ever had a chance to read. Hope you all enjoyed it. Stay out of other people's foods when they tell you to. You never know what they may do. This was a great one. And this story is posted by u/Lady Voluptuous. Rude, obnoxious neighbor gets some petty revenge. This is my auntie's story, but I have her permission to post this. Many years ago, my auntie and her husband had this really awful neighbor. This woman used to put on all the airs and graces about herself, strutting around like she was just all that. She was also entitled as feck. No one on the street liked her. She was a real gossipy old bat who used to start rumors about other people, and she was hella nosy. The type of person who just had to know everything about everyone. For example, one day my cousin went home to visit. As he was leaving, he stopped on the front porch and hugged my auntie goodbye. Nosy neighbor saw this, not knowing that it was my auntie's son, and by the next day, a story had gotten around the small community that a man had been seen sneaking out of my auntie's bedroom window. She embellished the story to hell. Anyway, nosy neighbor elected herself as neighborhood patrol, and it wasn't unlike her to be passive-aggressive about the state of people's properties. She'd leave judgmental notes in letterboxes that said, "Remember to cut your lawn and keep your grass green. Other people don't want to look at a dirty garden." People on the street kept their gardens neat and tidy anyway, but the fact that she brought up about even one blade of grass being out of place, it really got people's backs up. Nosy Neighbor used to enter garden competitions, and she grew flowers to enter in shows. It was her hobby. Someone else moved onto the street who also used to enter flower shows, and some of hers had actually placed in competitions. Well, Nosy Neighbor didn't like that. How dare someone like the same thing as her? Instead of bonding over this shared hobby, Nosy Neighbor used it as an excuse to be an absolute butch to this woman. This woman was a part of a few other social clubs, and when it was her turn to host, you better believe that Nosy Neighbor called the police with exaggerated tales of noise complaints. There were rumors going around that this woman used to host swingers parties and sex parties. Every rumor under the sun, Nosy Neighbor tried to start. There's no direct evidence, but this woman is certain that Nosy Neighbor put salt on some of her flower beds as the plants died. Well, I guess this woman got sick of it because one day when it was 1 or 2 in the morning and everyone else was asleep, she snuck across the road and cut the head off the prize rose that Nosy Neighbor was going to enter in the flower show. Some of her other plants were mysteriously dug up as well. Everyone knew it was her, but no one was about to tell on her or run to Nosy Neighbor and narc. I don't really condone sneaking onto someone's property, but this woman was a judgmental nightmare, so I can understand the frustration that this street must have felt. I'm not too sure what the outcome was, or if Nosy Neighbor stopped being a butch, but my auntie told me that 6 months after that, she moved into a retirement village. They had a street party that weekend. And this story is posted by u/Akai_Saru. I get a revenge on the 6-year-old bullies. 11 years ago, when I was 15, my little sister, 6, was playing with her friends in a small playground which was right across the street in front of our house. It was a hot summer afternoon, and my parents were not home. Suddenly, my sister comes home crying, telling that her friends are not playing with her anymore. This has happened multiple times before. Small girls can be very toxic and brutal, and I was getting sick of this on-off friendship game they were playing with my sister. So I opened the front door and stepped on our porch and shouted at them, asking what the problem was and why won't they play with my sister. The girls giggled and were like, "We don't have to play with her if we don't want to." And the other one was like, "Yeah, we just don't feel like it." My sister was sobbing as I sat her down on our porch and gave her an ice cream. While she was eating, I started planning. I went inside and gathered all the water toys we had from the attic, not those inflatable ones, I mean water guns, etc., and I filled them all with water. Then I took out the water balloons. Every kid loves water balloons. So I filled as many as I could, as fast as I could, and put them in a big bucket. I was afraid that those 2 girls would leave before I was ready, but luckily they were still in the playground when I opened the front door. I placed the water guns and the bucket full of water balloons right in front of our yard so the girls could see them clearly. We did have a huge backyard, but it wouldn't be a revenge if they can't see us properly. Then I announced loudly, "Sis, go get changed. We're going to have a huge water warfare." I can still remember the excitement and happiness on my sister's face when she realized what was about to happen. We both got our swimsuits on and started playing. I wanted everyone in the neighborhood to know that me and my sister are having a time of our lives, so I made sure I laughed louder than I have ever before. And my sister, oh boy, she was so full of pure joy. The 2 girls were just standing there staring at us. I even waved at them and was like, "Oh boy, we sure have lots of fun here." It didn't take long until they had slowly walked in front of our yard and asked if they could join us. I grabbed my sister's hand as we walked towards them. "I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You were saying?" The girls looked very awkward and shy as they repeated themselves. "We said that if you let us join your water warfare, we promise to play with your sister more." I probably had this huge shy-eating grin on my face as I had successfully baited those 6-year-olds to say those magic words. Then I put my finger on my chin and pretended to think. Then I said, "I'm sorry, we don't have to play with you if we don't want to." And we got back to playing. I can still remember the look on their faces even to this day. Yet, the best memory of that day is my sister's laughter. And this story is posted by u/Wolf's Little Sprite. A customer threatens my coworkers because they didn't make his lunch that he didn't order. Okay, so this isn't my story, but one of my colleagues told me. EC is entitled customer. My colleague Sean is a chef and used to work in a little canteen-like area within a large company. Staff at the company would place their lunch orders the day before and collect the next day. It was a deli-style canteen that made delicious fresh sandwiches. Customers had a choice of breads and fillings. They could also get snacks like crisps, chocolate, cold, and hot drinks. Perfect lunch to eat at your desk. One customer was a regular, would eat the exact same sandwich every single day. He was also a riot butt who treated the employees like dirt. Sean and his colleagues didn't think much of it because they had a lot of PF regular orders. One day, EC didn't place an order, so his sandwich wasn't made. He came in the next day to find his food wasn't made for him, and he flipped out. EC: "Hey, where's my sandwich?" Sean: "Oh, sorry, mate. We didn't make it. It wasn't in the order list. If you place an order today, we can make you one for tomorrow." EC: "That's not good enough. I need a sandwich today. What else am I supposed to eat?" Sean: "I'm sorry, but we've used up all the ingredients for today. We only prepare enough to fill the daily orders. Yours wasn't there, so we assumed you didn't want or need a sandwich today." EC: "I order the exact same sandwich every day. You should know by now what I eat and when I collect my food. Make my sandwich now or I will have you fired." Sean: "Sir, I already explained. I can't do that. Place an order and I'll make sure it is ready for you tomorrow." EC storms out. It's obvious he's not getting his sandwich today. The next day, Sean is getting his sandwich ready and plays a game of football with the bread with his colleagues. They throw the ingredients to each other and in general make a real mess of that sandwich. They wrap it up and put it in the bag with his crisps and drink. When EC comes in to collect his lunch, Sean has the biggest smile on his face and says, "Enjoy your meal, sir." EC: "See, it wasn't that hard, was it?" Sean and his colleagues continued to screw with this guy's food every day for a year when Sean finally quit. Don't be rude to the people who handle your food. These were 4 great stories, so we definitely thank you for listening, and do us a huge favor, comment, like, share, and definitely subscribe for sure so you'll be able to get more of the reminders for new videos that come out in the future. Have yourselves an incredible day. This has been TNA Top Notch Audio.